Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we'll return with round 2 of season 3 of our F124 My Team career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here on the Jeddah Corniche. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a couple of days ago from Bahrain, I would highly recommend going back and checking out. We had a really interesting season opener that ended up working fantastically in our favour. A last lap battle with Carlos Sainz for the win saw us claim our first victory of the new season there. After lacking pace seemingly all weekend, we got possibly the best red flag I've ever had inside F124. Ferrari, though, they look very racy, finishing in P2 and P3 there. They lead the Constructors' Championship, just 6 points clear of ourselves as we head into this weekend. Red Bull really struggled. Max Verstappen had some technical gremlins all weekend long there, so disappointing for him down in P12 as well. But hopefully, as we return to Jeddah tonight, we can try and get another big result. Of course, it is a long season ahead of us inside this series. I'm looking forward to it, though. Anyway, get yourself subscribed if you're new. We're trying to hit 5k subs here on the channel as well. And yeah, let's do this thing.
Welcome to Jeddah Corniche, one of the fastest circuits on the calendar, but let's see who will be the fastest of them all. It's time to set the grid for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Yes, it's time for qualifying.
Well, I think what I've learned about this car very early on this season, and especially here in Saudi Arabia, its greatest weakness, I think, is actually the straight line speed, or lack of straight line speed. It just has not got enough go in a straight line currently inside this game. So how that's going to affect us this weekend, only time will tell. Of course, Jeddah obviously is a very fast circuit, but of course a lot of it as well does require a bit of downforce, a bit of sticking power in the car. I really thought in Bahrain we were going to storm to pole, and of course, yeah, that certainly didn't happen. As immediately, that's a warning for exceeding track limits. While still waiting on a few of our big names to get lap times on the board, or at least representative lap times on the board. We went well through Sector 1. We are 1.2 seconds up on Teo Pourchaire by the time we get through to the end of Sector 2. And of course, battery management as well here is really critical as we make our way down in towards the final corner. Hopefully we just don't do a Max Verstappen as we try and tip the car in. Easy does it on the throttle there, just nudge the wall on the exit there as we try and use the power, use the straight line speed up to the line. We go P2, only a 10th behind Lando Norris. Right, come on then, just over 30 seconds on the clock as we make our way through the final couple of corners. We are seeing times continue to improve by fellow competitors, but it is Fernando Alonso currently fastest ahead of both of those McLarens. Could this be a weekend where Aston Martin remind everybody of just how good that car and that driver are there? Lando Norris now into the 125s. We really do see a good ramp up right towards the end of qualifying inside this series. There is again trying to chuck the car through in towards the S's there. I mean, all of these corners are completely flat out. We are mighty strong through Sector 1 against the AI. There is a really nice run out of that section of corners there, and you can see we're all the way down to P9. So once again, everybody improving right towards the end of qualifying. The track does really ramp up here, as now we just find a little bit more as we make our way through Sector 2 then. Nudge the wall on the inside, that'll compromise us on the exit. Have to just use a little bit more battery to make sure that we have got the speed there. Open up the DRS through what is kind of the back straight, but yeah, it's not very straight. Tip the car in, that was good there. Really nice tidy over the curbing there, and you can see we are about a 10th up then as we round our way in towards the final couple of corners. Let's just save a little bit of battery, make sure we've got the speed off of that final turn. Brake at the 100 meter board there, try to take a late apex through the corner there, power down up towards the line. It is going to be a 2/10 improvement. Where is that going to leave us though on the grid? It is only P7. While Lando Norris storming to pole position once again. Of course, last time out though, didn't really work for him. When all is said and done, Oscar Piastri less than a 10th of a second behind, ahead of Alonso. Sergio Perez, a really good job done in the second car there, up in P4. I guess he's the first car this weekend, ahead of Charles Leclerc, George Russell, and myself. Tsunoda gets himself up inside the top 10 there. Verstappen only down in 10th place, still clear of his teammate and Zhou Guanyu. No big shockers though towards the rear of the field, so let's head then into race day Sunday.
It's still new to Formula One, but it has fast, sweeping corners, already making it a favourite. Welcome to the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Let's take a look at a topographical map of the Jeddah Street circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he will start from pole position. And Oscar Piastri completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Perez, Leclerc, Russell, Mr. Monaco, Tsunoda, Verstappen, Zhou, Gasly, Hamilton, Stroll, Ocon, Bottas, Ricciardo, Albon, Teo Porcher, Sainz, Sargent, Hulkenberg, and Dennis Hauger. And now, it's time to head down to the track.
Well, after losing out on the victory on the run towards the line last weekend, it gets even worse for Carlos Sainz here, taking grid penalties, leaving the Ferrari right towards the rear of the field. But 25 laps ahead of us then here on the Jeddah Corniche. How will we get on today? Only time will tell. Let's do this thing though. Lining up P7 on the grid, we were able to carve our way through last weekend. It's 5 red lights. And it's going to be lights out, and away we go. They're off to a fairly clean, tidy start, as Max Verstappen there on the mediums, getting off to a good launch in towards turn 1. Just make sure we give the Dutchman a little bit of room through that first corner. We've seen him be very, very ragged down in towards turn 1 here on more than one occasion, as Tsunoda, nice and easy with the V-carb driver there through the first couple of corners. But yeah, Verstappen, after a pretty disappointing season opener, he's really getting his elbows out there, and he will move past Charles Leclerc. This is frantic stuff on lap 1. But somehow in the end, it is Leclerc, Verstappen, myself, and Yuki in that order. Hamilton, he's moved up to the top 10 as well there after qualifying in at P12. So again, another weekend where Hamilton has struggled for pace so far there, as again, Yuki trying to get the nose down the inside through turn 12. I wonder if his goal this year is to try and be the highest ranked Red Bull driver out of either of the teams, because I tell you what, that car does look very, very racy. And the Red Bull, well, it certainly seemed to lack a bit of pace last weekend. Obviously, Verstappen looked fast early on, never really got a fair running out in Bahrain before technical gremlins that they just could not fix. I mean, something had to go wrong for Max, didn't it, for Lance Stroll to beat him in the second car. There is Tsunoda forcing his way down or inside, and Lewis Hamilton also looking for the move. Well, let's see if we can try and get a run then on Yuki Tsunoda out of the S's once more. You can see, yeah, again, we've got very, very good speed off of the corners. It is just top end where we really seem to struggle, as almost into the back of Max Verstappen. Of course, DRS now enabled, so I mean, this is just so tricky to work out how much room you need to give for the other car. It's that fine balance, of course. You need to squeeze Yuki to make sure, obviously, that he doesn't just kind of have the room to go around us. But one wrong move can be game over when the speeds are this high. Well, I think Leclerc's going to be a little bit vulnerable here to Verstappen then, as we make our way in towards the final corner once more. This is usually where we see the AI make their overtakes on each other, as Verstappen there still trying to hook it up the long way around. Leclerc will try and keep the nose down the inside there. You know, for all these two know, points here could be pivotal come the end of the year as new fastest lap of the day. Certainly good for us. And I was about to say, I can see Sergio Perez just up in front going 3 wide there through turn 1. We're almost going to make it 3 wide there with Leclerc and Verstappen. Don't really want to go wheel to wheel in through turn 3 and turn 4 there, but you can just see Perez and Russell still side by side. So we've got Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, and both of our cars involved in this scuffle. And I mean, this is just ridiculous early on. We'll try and get the run on Verstappen on the exit of the corner there. Leclerc now is going to try and get the run on George Russell as well through turn 12. We've got to give Charles room though on the exit. Any bit of contact there will just tip us into the inside wall, but, I mean, we're only on lap 4. Already, this race is feeling incredibly frantic. Will we see Russell try and get a run on our teammate Perez? Sergio seems to be running a bit less downforce than I am this weekend to try and combat the lack of straight line speed. As we navigate our way through the final few corners into Sector 3 we go. Come on, just try and get the run, try and get the power down as best as we can. But you just see there again, that Ferrari is so quick and nowhere for him to be able to use that straight line speed. Russell, again, having a look to the outside of Checo. We've got to try and get the run on Leclerc on the exit of the corner there. We're going to follow our teammate back down in towards turn 1 there. That's one car navigated. And there's 2 and 3 to the inside. We'll go in towards turn 1. Really trying to outbrake everybody through that first corner. And suddenly, we are up into 4th. Well, it does feel like we've been able to leave that gaggle of cars in our dust then. Russell and Perez really just battling so aggressively with each other that we've been able to get a little bit of a buffer. Now, McLaren, they look rapid, as does Fernando Alonso. Oscar Piastri, he's kind of been thrown under the bus on the medium tyres there. I think McLaren trying to split their strategy a little bit. So as Alonso and Norris just still pull away at the front, fighting each other, we are slowly reeling in Oscar Piastri. Well, I tell you what, as we get closer and closer to the pit window, then Oscar Piastri might well get in the range of that top 2 before I get in his range. Are we there? Yes, we are. So that's going to give us a nice handy boost against Oscar Piastri then. Looks like behind us, Leclerc and Perez have bolted away kind of from the rest of that gaggle. I think Verstappen's got to the front of that group. But it really does feel now that the mediums might be the quicker tyre. So as long as we can just hang on to Oscar's coattails, he is bringing us. I mean, look at that. Lando versus Fernando at the front of the order. Team want us in at the end of this lap. But yeah, these two are putting on a show at the front. And Alonso again will take the lead of the race. Well, I've got to admit, I'm pretty happy that we've been able to break so far away from that group behind, because hopefully they're not going to cause problems for us. Almost 3 wide for the lead of the Grand Prix there. Oscar Piastri just a bit forced out in that one, but are we going to see anybody into the pit lane? I think Norris is going to be in. So is Alonso as well. So all 3 of us diving into the pit lane there. I just at the last moment thought the pit lane speed limit was 37 miles an hour here. As there we go. Top 2 in. So it is going to be a battle of the pit stops then. And the pit crews. This is where the teams really earn their money. As it looks like I think Norris has got the jump on Alonso. Yes, he has. And we're going to end up miles behind the pair of them there. So clearly our pit crew aren't on anywhere near as much money as their 2 teams are. Either that or we need to do some more pit stop training. This could also be pivotal then. Fernando Alonso has come out right on the gearbox of Valtteri Bottas even. So Lando Norris has actually found a bit of a window to try and break free here. And maybe if he leaves the Aston Martin and I'm fighting throughout the rest of the afternoon. Look at the run we got there on Alonso. The higher downforce setup of this car really working wonders. We're going to try and split the gap down the middle. We go through one way of Alonso, through the other way of Bottas, purple through that middle sector as well, all at the same time. That was a beautiful move. I mean, how on earth does Bottas have that much more straight line speed as we will send it back down the inside? Load more cars into the pit lane though. I assume Bottas will be one of them. Yes, he is. So there is Norris out in front. See a few cars now opting for the hard tyres to get through to the flag. But this might work out even better for McLaren, because Oscar Piastri then... how on earth have McLaren made this work so well? They've now effectively got a 1-2 in this race. Well, Oscar Piastri, I just don't think those hard tyres are going to work well enough for him as early as he needs them to. So we're going to get a big squeeze down towards the inside wall there again. It requires millimetre perfection to dance the dance around this circuit. It's Pierre Gasly into the pit lane, as well as I think our final pitter in Max Verstappen. 7.1 seconds. Oh, I've got no battery though. We've been just pushing a bit too hard over the last few laps. So Lando even has a chance to really run away. Well, it is a horrible, horrible balance right now between trying to fight to catch up Lando Norris, but also saving the battery to try and keep Alonso and Oscar Piastri at bay there. I mean, Oscar I'm sure he will have been told just to try and park the bus if he can get in front of Fernando and I, and we know that McLaren will come alive towards the end of the race as well. Alonso's just taken my fastest lap bonus point for himself. Zoy! That was a little bit sketchy. Completely my own doing there, just almost ran into the side of him. And Alonso then, he will now go in hot pursuit of Lando. I mean, if Lando and I want a shot at trying to go after Lando here, we've got to try and work together late on in the day. 10 laps left here on the Jeddah Corniche, and we will power back around the outside of the Aston Martin. That's exactly what we've got to do. You can see we take a good half a second out of him. If we can just do that a couple more times, we'll be right there with the McLaren once more. Or we might not even have to wait for Fernando then. We've got the run. We are inside the range of Lando Norris once more. Late on in the day here. I mean, he's got no battery. Look at that. Lando Norris really having to save. So maybe use too much of his battery trying to get away in the first place. And as we try and use as much of ours as we possibly can up towards the line. Look at that. 28.1. New fastest lap.
By 12.4 seconds.
I mean, that was pretty much the perfect lap for us there. We got the DRS off Alonso and then had to deal with none of the dirty air before we got the DRS off Lando as well there. But again, trying to be so careful as you thread your way through the barriers. But we might just have broken free from the Spaniards. How many times have we seen this car struggle on a Saturday and then absolutely come alive on a Sunday afternoon? They're hounding Lando Norris for the win with just 8 laps remaining here in Jeddah. Again, we've just got to be careful that Alonso doesn't get in the range, but we're going to power to the outside. It's a battle of the Brits once again inside this series. But could we get 2 wins in a row to kickstart the season? Come on then, about to start lap 20 here. Just 6 laps left of this race. The pace is still looking very good at the moment, but every single time we go down any of the straights, which admittedly here there are a lot of them, Lando Norris takes so much time out of us. I mean, we are desperately trying to hang on ahead of the McLaren man. So we get another warning for exceeding track limits. I think that's the last one I can afford to get away with this weekend. It's just a minor little bit of understeer through that corner. But the FIA will punish you. No. Just nudge the wall. Just nudge the wall. And now we've got a huge amount of wear on the front left tyre. So we've got, sorry, the front right tyre even. So we've got to be really careful towards the end. We cannot afford to make any more mistakes like that. I always forget just how brutal the tyre wear can be when you just nudge the walls. Oh no, here comes Lando down the inside at turn 1 there. Knew that was coming. Before we even turn into the corner, just see the McLaren make his intentions very clear there. And look at the drive he's got off of those first couple of corners there. Lando Norris back to the lead of this Grand Prix. And I'm just starting to worry that we have not got the pace towards the end. And I'm trying to just save as much battery as I can for these final few laps here. As to the outside again, we will go of the McLaren. We saw how useful it was back in Bahrain just to save up the battery, ready for that final lap. There is on Norris. He's going to really try and squeeze me as we start lap 22 or 25 down the inside. But you can see he's willing to fight it. Oh, he locks up. Lando Norris locks up. And suddenly now, the gap opens up to over a second. And has he just handed us a potential victory here? We've seen Norris bottle it time and time again. Has this been another one? Oh, we got a spinner. We got a spinner. With just 1 lap to go, Lance Stroll, I think, is out of the Grand Prix. So I don't think that was a spin. I think that was just a mechanical failure. I'll have a look when we get back round there as to where Lance has placed his car. But I called it the Battle of the Brits between myself and Lando Norris. Probably should have dubbed it the Battle of the Bottle Jobs inside this game. But luckily for me, with 1 lap left here in Jeddah, I think it's Lando Norris that has bottled it more than I have. And although in Bahrain we got incredibly lucky with that second red flag timing, here in Jeddah we have just been a bit more competitive, helped in these dying stages by the fact that, yeah, Alonso, Piastri and Norris have all been battling each other, but we've got the job done. That's exactly what we needed to. Nice and easy through this section of corners there is, yeah, that has been a mechanical failure for Lance Stroll then, so he hasn't got to bend it or anything like that like he normally does here on the Jeddah Corniche. As Bottas has gone, why is it suddenly turned into a race of attrition right at the very end here? 2 drivers out right at the end of this Grand Prix there. The one thing I've got to be careful of is the tyre wear, as suddenly we are at 94%, so I've got to be really, really careful through these final few corners there. The tyre wear warning, though, just went less aggressive again, so not too sure what to make of that. 98% on that front right tyre as we make our way through the final couple of corners. As long as I don't do anything stupid, though, as there is Bottas' stricken car, we should still walk away with the victory here. Oscar Piastri, McLaren, I think, should have put a little bit more faith in the Australian rather than Lando Norris here. Looks like he's going to be trying to fight for P2, but through the final couple of corners we're going to go. The understeer now is catastrophic on this set of tyres there. We're up to 100%. We've got a puncture. No, up towards the line. We're doing a Lewis Hamilton tribute.
Yes, 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 guys, yes! Come on, boys!
That brings the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix to a close then, as we reflect on the team's impressive performance today.
And it's always good to get that momentum on your side, and it's really good for your confidence as well. The more confident you are, the further that can take you.
A show-stopping performance from the 3 drivers approaching the podium right now. It's been an interesting Grand Prix, that's for sure.
Well, there we go then. Back-to-back victories to kickstart the year. But I was not expecting, like I said, to do a Lewis Hamilton tribute right towards the checkered flag there. A puncture. Admittedly, for us, it was only at the final corner, but it almost gave Oscar Piastri a chance back in there. Oscar Piastri in P2 ahead of Alonso and Lando Norris. Yuki Tsunoda, another good result for the young Japanese driver there, ahead of Russell Leclerc, Verstappen, Zhou Guanyu, and Lewis Hamilton. Not too sure what happened to Checo to end up all the way down in P11 there, but Sainz as well, unable to recover into the top 10 with those grid penalties there. What does that do, though, to our championship standings? Well, it does now mean we've got a 23-point buffer already there, as Oscar Piastri and Fernando Alonso tied in P2. Leclerc up to 3rd ahead of his teammates still, with Lando Norris in P6. Tsunoda tied there on 18 points apiece with the McLaren and the Ferrari, with Hamilton, Verstappen, Zhou Guanyu, Perez and Hamilton all with points on the board. So Tsunoda, he is, yeah, easily the best Red Bull driver so far this campaign. Constructors-wise, we've got a 7-point lead over McLaren there, as Ferrari a further 7 behind them. Aston Martin ahead of VCarb, Mercedes, and yeah, Red Bull get their first points of the season there. But as the start of the season goes, I think we can be pretty happy with the results we've had so far. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns, ready, I believe, to Albert Park, Australia.